A major international tournament is the perfect place to put yourself in the shop window, just ask Musa Sissoko. With all eyes set to be on the World Cup this summer, unless your country didn't make it, there will be a plethora of players using the tournament as an opportunity to get themselves a big money move during the summer transfer window. So let's go through all 32 nations competing at the tournament and say which player could be playing for a transfer. Russia, Alexander Golovin. The host nation squad isn't the most exciting at the tournament, with a lot of ageing faces, but one exciting player is 21-year-old midfielder Alexander Golovin, who has been linked with a move to the Premier League in recent months. Arsene Wenger was reportedly a fan of the Russian, while there's been interest from the likes of Newcastle and Southampton, so there's a chance for Golovin to earn a huge move in the summer. One bit of advice though, don't do an Alan Jagoev and ignore it, the poor bloke's still playing for CSKA. Saudi Arabia, Farhad Al Muwallad. On paper this seemed like a great idea, then I realised I'd have to come up with players for the likes of Saudi Arabia, who surprisingly I know nothing about. So I've gone with 23-year-old Al Muwallad, who is currently on loan at Levante, where he isn't playing at all, but as one of the most coveted players in Asia right now, a performance on the grandest stage could see him turn some heads. Egypt, Ramadan Sobhi. With Stoke getting relegated from the Premier League, they'll have a sea of players wanting to leave the Bet365 stadium, and some of them will have another opportunity to rewrite the wrongs of this season by performing at the World Cup, and one of those is Egyptian winger Ramadan Sobhi. The 21-year-old has impressed in flashes for Stoke, but a good showing in Russia alongside superstar Mo Salah could earn him the move away he wants. Uruguay, Lucas Torreira. The diminutive defensive midfielder only made his Uruguay debut in March this year, and could be one of the more inexperienced figures in light blue alongside the likes of Edinson Cavani and Luis Suarez. Torreira is currently at Sampdoria, but it's a target for Napoli, but if he gets the chance to play in the heart of Uruguay's midfield, his tackling escapades could attract even more interest in the 22-year-old. Portugal, André Gomes. For the love of God, will someone please take André Gomes away from Barcelona? Despite getting his hands on some trophies, the midfielder has had a miserable time in red and blue, and is desperate to leave the new camp. His performances at club level have always left a lot to be desired, but he's always done better in a Portugal shirt, and I'll be hoping that's the case in the summer, so someone splashes out on him, not in a rude way, and ends his Barcelona nightmare. Spain, Isco. Some will argue that Isco is now Spain's best player, but he's also one that could use the World Cup to manufacture a move away from his native country. Speaking in March, Isco said, "In Madrid I don't have the confidence a player needs," before adding, "Maybe I'm the problem in Madrid, I don't know how to win Zidane's confidence." This will have put a lot of Premier League teams on red alert, and I'm sure they were all desperately looking for the pennies needed to prize Isco away from the Bernabeu. Sadly though, a standout performance at the World Cup will only increase his value. Morocco, Sofiane Boufal. A gifted player on his day, Sofiane Boufal really hasn't hit the heights expected of him at St Mary's, which is why he seemingly fell out with every manager he's had on the south coast. It seems very likely he'll leave Southampton over the summer, especially if they go down, so Boufal might need to perform in Russia to get the bidding war to begin. Iran, Saman Ghoddos. Ha, and you all thought I'd struggle for Iran, but no, we've got Saman Ghoddos, who some of you may know from Östersund's incredible Europa League journey that ended at the hands of Arsenal. Actually born in Sweden, Ghoddos was a real bright spark for Östersunds, and some similar showings on the international stage could see rumours of a move from the Swedish minnows intensify. France, Thomas Lemar. With the way things are going in Ligue 1, there's a chance Monaco won't be playing Champions League football next season, which is a cause for concern for a player of Thomas Lemar's ability, who has been heavily linked with a move away over the past year, with Arsenal and Liverpool both reported to have been keen. The youngster will want to play in the Champions League, and if he can't do it in Monaco, he'll go elsewhere to get it, and there'll be a lot of interest in him if he can showcase his skills at his first ever World Cup. Australia, Tom Rogic. The midfielder is about to enter the final year of his contract at Celtic, and Rogic is yet to pen a new deal at Parkhead, suggesting he could be off in the summer for pastures new. While Rogic has won everything at Celtic, the World Cup is a huge stage for the 25-year-old, who has been linked with a move to Southampton. Peru, Andre Carrillo. This was a difficult one, as Peru are a bit of a one-man team, with 33-year-old Jefferson Farfan guiding his country to the World Cup, and I can't see him getting another move at his age. So we've gone with Andre Carrillo, who has spent the season on loan at Watford with varying degrees of success, and a few decent performances at the World Cup could get him another move, since it doesn't seem too likely that he's needed at Benfica. Or maybe they do want him back, who knows, Peru is tough, okay? Denmark, Nikolaj Jorgensen. The Danish striker was very close to getting the move he craved in January, with Newcastle very keen on making Jorgensen their main striker, but the move fell through and the 27-year-old was left upset and heartbroken, maybe. He's made it clear that he wants to leave Feyenoord, but after a disappointing club showing, the World Cup is almost last chance saloon for Jorgensen as he looks to secure a move to one of Europe's major divisions. Argentina, Christian Pavon. This is a little bit of a risky one, as there's no guarantee the youngster will make the squad, but if he does, Pavon could use the World Cup to engineer a move from South America to Europe. Currently at Boca Juniors, the pacey wide man knows he needs to join a European club to take the next step in his career, and the World Cup will be the first chance he gets to showcase his talents to the globe. Iceland, Johan Berg Gudmundsson. Iceland were another difficult one, as they don't seem to have any real young stars breaking through. Eidur Gudjohnsen has finally retired, and there's not much chance of Gylfi Sigurdsson changing clubs again. So we've had to go for Burnley's Gudmundsson, who's had a great season at Turf Moor as he prepares for European football under Sean Dyche next season. However, he has been a target for some Premier League clubs, so maybe he could join an even bigger team if he impresses at Iceland's first ever World Cup. Croatia, Milan Badelj. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. The Fiorentina midfielder could become a free agent in the summer, with his contract at the Serie A club set to expire, so the World Cup might be Badelj's chance at some free advertisement to potentially get himself a new club. However, with the incredible midfield options such as Luka Modric, Mateo Kovacic and Ivan Rakitic, will Badelj get the chance? Nigeria, Peter Odemwingie. Come on, the guy's always on the lookout for a transfer. Nah, we're just messing. Nigeria, Kelechi Iheanacho. The striker's career has taken a turn for the worse since swapping Man City for Leicester, exchanging a Premier League title for sitting on the Foxes bench while all the players get annoyed at whoever the manager is. He was linked with the move away in January, and the World Cup presents a chance for Iheanacho to show the world once again what he can do, and get his career moving in the right direction in the process. Brazil, Alisson Becker. The Brazilian number 1 ahead of Manchester City's Ederson, Alisson could be a wanted man over the summer, and his value will only increase if he can play a part in Brazil winning their 6th World Cup trophy. While Loris Karius has improved in recent months, Liverpool might still take a look at the goalkeeper they pushed 7 past in the Champions League semi-final. Switzerland, Xherdan Shaqiri. With Stoke City getting relegated, Xherdan Shaqiri is another player who won't be hanging around in the Championship, as I don't think his ego would allow it. While Shaqiri maybe hasn't hit the heights many thought he would, he's still an exciting player, and if he can rise to the occasion in a Switzerland shirt like he has before, then there'll be a very long queue of teams wanting his signature. Costa Rica, Joel Campbell. The winger's already starred at one World Cup, so can he do it a second time in Russia? The 2018 tournament is arguably even bigger for Campbell, as he enters a crossroads in his career. He can't spend his life on loan away from Arsenal, and it doesn't seem like he has a future in North London, so some show-stealing performances at the World Cup could give Campbell's career a new lease of life. Serbia, Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. He might only have 2 caps, but Milinkovic-Savic is probably Serbia's most exciting player. A pretty much complete midfielder, this is set to be Milinkovic-Savic's first appearance on the grand stage, and rumours of move to either Tottenham or Manchester United will only intensify if he lives up to the hype. Germany, Timo Werner. The striker's got a great record at international level, with 7 goals in 12 appearances, but can he extend that record at the World Cup? Germany are looking for their next great striker, and that could be Timo Werner, and if he's to become that, he'll need to be playing for one of the great club teams, and sadly, that isn't RB Leipzig. A few goals at the World Cup could result in some huge offers coming his and Leipzig's way, despite the club's sporting director insisting he will not be sold. Mexico, Hirving Lozano. Sorry Dutch football fans, but players like Hirving Lozano won't hang around in the Eredivisie for long. Having shone at PSV, the World Cup could put an even bigger spotlight on Lozano, and if he performs, there might not be a better time for him to make a move to a Champions League juggernaut, with the likes of Juventus, Liverpool, Manchester United and Manchester City all having been rumoured with the midfielder in the past. Sweden, Victor Lindelof. His debut season at Old Trafford hasn't been one to write home about, so what will next season hold for Victor Lindelof? Well, there's talk of him being loaned out as Mourinho looks to improve his defensive ranks, so does the 23-year-old need to perform in Russia to ensure he gets a temporary move to a club that matches his ambitions? Or will his name value ensure that happens anyway? South Korea, Hee-chan Hwang. Now, South Korea are unlikely to make too big a splash in Russia in what is a relatively tricky group, but they do have a couple of decent players who could excel. Now, we know all about Tottenham's Son Heung-min, but another exciting player they possess is Hee-chan Hwang, who is being linked with a move to the Premier League. The Red Bull Salzburg forward is a man in demand, and the 2018 World Cup could push him out the Salzburg door and into the arms of England's top flight. Belgium, Toby Alderweireld. If the rumours are to be believed, then Toby Alderweireld will be allowed to leave Tottenham this summer, with Pochettino even favouring the pairing of Jan Vertonghen and Davinson Sanchez in recent weeks, while Big Toby sits on the bench twiddling his thumbs. There'll be a long list of potential suitors for the centre-half, and that list will only get longer if he impresses at a World Cup, where Belgium will be one of the strongest teams with their golden generation of players. Panama, Alberto Quintero. Not gonna lie lads, this one was an absolute ball ache. The Panama squad isn't particularly exciting, considering most of their players are the wrong side of 30, so I look forward to them snatching a 0-0 draw against England. But since we've got to pick one player, we've got midfielder Alberto Quintero, who is apparently Panama's most creative player. Currently playing in Peru, Quintero might nab himself a move if he plays well, and even though he only got a new club last year, it shouldn't matter too much, as he's a little bit of a journeyman of sorts. England, Jack Butland. Now that he's been relegated, it seems very unlikely that Jack Butland will be a Potter's player next season. He's currently locked in a battle with Jordan Pickford to be England's number one, and if he does win that battle, he will be in a position to increase his value if he can keep the likes of Kevin De Bruyne and Romelu Lukaku out in the group stage. One club is going to spend an absolute fortune on Butland this summer, and it'll be an even bigger fortune if he performs for the Three Lions at the World Cup. Tunisia, Wahbi Khazri. With Sunderland now in League One, Wahbi Khazri is one of many black cats who will be desperate for a move away in the summer, and to be fair it might benefit Sunderland, because if Khazri can perform at the World Cup, they might get some extra pennies for the Tunisian, who spent the current season on loan at Rennes. Poland, Gregor Krychowiak. It was a real head turner when the midfielder arrived at West Brom on loan last summer, but it hasn't gone well at all for Krychowiak. The 28-year-old will return to PSG in the summer, but it seems unlikely they'll have any use for him despite a new manager looming, so he'll need to use the World Cup to remind everyone of the player he once was, particularly when he was at Sevilla. Senegal, Oumar Niasse. To be fair, there's no guarantee that he'll even be at the World Cup, despite being a part of their previous 30-man squad, but if he does make it to Russia, then Niasse will hope he can perform to end his Everton nightmare. The striker's face has never really fit at Goodison Park, and despite being a cult figure, will most certainly be moved on during the transfer window, so a good performance could help drum up some interest. Colombia, Carlos Bacca. The striker has spent the season on loan at Villarreal, who do have an option to buy the 31-year-old, but they don't take up the opportunity. Bacca could be playing for a move, since it seems unlikely that he has a future at AC Milan if they were willing to loan him out last season with an option to buy. We've seen him linked with the Premier League in the past, so could 2018 finally be the year it happens? And finally, Japan, Yoshinori Muto. Apparently the forward is desperate to move to the Premier League and follow in the footsteps of Shinji Okazaki, so performing at the World Cup could go a long way to helping Muto get his dream move. However, with only 2 Japan goals to his name so far in his international career, is there any chance of him adding to that tally? Or will he even be part of the squad? Who knows? So that's one player from every World Cup team that might be playing for a transfer. Let us know yours in the comments below. Thanks for watching and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I'm going for a lie down.